What's up, y'all? My name is Crystal Larsosa. I am the executive director and founder of Black Marriage Movement. I'm with my girls today, and with Black Marriage Movement, we're creating generational wealth. We're making sure that our Black community see marriage as a viable option. So we're not forcing women to feel like, oh, marriage should be something that you should absolutely do. But let's think about it in our community. Let's think about the statistics of women that actually are married and that's having children. So let me say this. I saw that 80% of Black women actually give birth between the age of 15 and 57 before they are even married. Wow. And so 1 in 5 Black women will ever be married, right? And so I saw that 42% of girls have babies before the age of 20. Why is this a problem in our community, right? And so I know that's something I've heard. I've heard some women say, well, it's the dudes. It's the men that don't want to get married. Is that true? What I'm saying? Like, is that an actual true statement? Is it that the men don't want to get married? And I want to hear from you all. I want to hear y'all experiences.
I'm going to chime in on that. I don't think it's because the men don't want to get married. I think they just go into a relationship blind, have sex, just we're human, and a mistake might happen. And the woman, she might be in love with this man. To this man, she was just a good time. This my friend. I'm leaving the club. Let me call her up. She gonna answer. It could be that. And she could be wanting more, whereas he just want a sex partner. So I think a lot of that comes from that. A woman will keep a baby because she loves that man. So that's my take.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think that there's just a certain level of it's not a requirement. I feel like, in our generation, I speak for myself, I'm unmarried. And I do not have children. I'm child free by choice. And I think that if women required that of men, then I think that the conversation would be different.
I agree.
I think that if because we are the vessels of life, so
yes.
we decide with our bodies whether or not a child is going to come into the world or not, regardless of whether or not that man wants a family with us. We are the gatekeepers of what a family is supposed to be.
Right.
And I think that if women were like, if I'm not committed or if I'm not married, I'm not having your baby. Period. End of sentence. Then I think it would just change the dynamic of why women either we just not going to be having babies or we'll see more marriage. Either one. I mean, I think that it's going to one is going to result in the other. But I mean, right now there's no incentive to be married. What's the incentive?
Right. So are we saying that women aren't seeing marriage as an incentive? Mm-hmm. Why?
I can't answer. I can't because I can't answer that.
I mean, because y'all two are married. Yeah. So if you're gonna,
so let me say this. I think that at the end of the day, go back in time with me for a minute. Okay. When we think about the 1960s, right? Mm-hmm. We think about how the state came in and told Black women,
Yep.
Come on.
You getting this government assistance. You can't have the mail in your house.
Absolutely.
They did that.
They absolutely did that. And so most of our parents were from that generation, right?
Absolutely.
And so we were raised to feel like, we don't need a man in our household. We're being taken care of,
yep.
Whether it was food stamps,
government
assistance.
They used to call it ADC.
Yeah. And so, they would even come out to the house and inspect your house and say,
"Now Section 8,
Section 8. Hold on, it better not be a man here."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Code word, Black man. It better not be a Black man in here because if it is, you gotta go.
And
right?
We're kicking you off of these benefits.
Absolutely. And so what Black women did at that time was they just like you gotta hide, you can't be here. But that's your child's father at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm. And so women were just feeling the pressure of being like, oh, well, I don't care. But then another thing, you didn't have to be held accountable in your relationship, right? Because whether he was going to pay a bill or not, it didn't matter because the state was going to take care of you. So any argument, you got to go. Absolutely.
Bye, you can go. Absolutely. I don't need you.
And so I think that over time, right, from generations, you know what I'm saying, decades, I think that we've now came to a point where it's like, you know what I'm saying, I'm right, period. And you disrespect me, and it's always about me.
True. Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with that now.
Yeah, and see, good job. Good job.
I'm dealing with that now, right.
And so we have, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as racism. Like we have the legal system behind us because
it's a woman's state. Michigan is a woman's state.
Absolutely. So like, really, like, if you not listening, like, I'm gonna put you on child support, or you will be locked up. And so, like, it's us at the end of the day. However, you know, like, the tables can turn, right? And so we can see marriage as a viable option. We can, before we decide to have children, we can decide to say, you know what, I need me a partner, a strong black man that can help me, you know, raise a child that I want to bear, and we can live as a family. We can check one another.
Absolutely.
We can create generational wealth.
And we can build.
And
we can build together.
But that's not something that we often see in our community.
True.
I'm let y'all speak on that.
Absolutely.
Well, what's your opinion?
I'll say this. I'll say that for me, I'm 36. I'm married, child free. I think that lately the narrative has been, you know, single women are the happiest demographic.
Okay.
And I hear that all the time, but I swear, to me, I be thinking that's a front.
It is. And let me say this.
That's their way of the way that they think. That's just their way of. What is the word I'm looking for?
Let me say this, McCall. As you're thinking, let me say this. It's really just like it's to me. I feel like it's one of the devil tricks, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's white feminism, and I'm gonna tell you how it came upon and how it just rolled up in our community because you're lonely. Like you wanna. You know
I don't need a man for nothing, really but lonely. Then you go on Facebook. Can I pay somebody to come shovel my snow?
Exactly. No. Get your man to shovel your
shovel
snow.
Your own damn snow.
And my thing is, at the end of the day, like you're gonna grow old because we all have a timeline, and especially women. Like we are high. Let me say this: by the time that we bear children, right, we got a timeline. You can only give birth between a certain amount of time, right? Because we dealing with nature. You know, at the end of the day, like you're gonna have a high risk pregnancy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if you decide to have a baby in your 40s, which is fine. Yeah. You know, let God be on your side. Let whatever happens, happen. However, I'm saying that you're still going to grow old, and you still need a partner. You know, at the end of the day, like whatever you go through, you can go through it with somebody because we're all gonna go through things. But to have someone with you to go through whatever it is that you go through, you can't tell me nothing different. And it's crazy because we see life as like, oh, it's a hot girl summer, and you know the city girls and everybody having a good time, but you really not having a good time. You're at night miserable. You're crying. You're crying at night because you hate your life. You know what I'm saying?
I'm lonely.
But what we do know is it's acceptable among the cauldron of black women because more you get majority of black women have babies and they're not married.
So absolutely. I have a question. What do you say to the demographic of women who have been told, like I'm one of those women that have been told, now I'm in a relationship and I think it's great. Obviously, I'm hoping that we lead to marriage, but I want to play angel's advocate here.
Okay.
Women have been told that historically that marriage has for the most part benefited men. Men who are married live longer. Men who are married create wealth quicker. So men cleaving to women has always been beneficial to men.
You want to know why?
Like the statistics say that married women die younger. They are more stressed out. They are more, especially for homes they're married single mothers now that they're talking about, where they're taking the emotional, the domestic labor, the conversation about what 50-50 actually looks like in a marriage.
Yeah.
And so how do we incentivize women when that's the narrative that we've been fed, whether it's men not pulling their weight in the home, where it's not 50-50, I have to raise the kids, suck your dick 3 times a day, I gotta clean, I gotta, and I have to work. And then it's supposed to be, this is something I'm supposed to see as beneficial to me. How are we going to express, create an incentive when the narrative is saying something totally opposite?
Yeah. So, I agree with you, Nish. It's an absolute narrative, because when you look at marriage at the end of the day, right, we see that black men die off quicker. You know what I'm saying? Literally faster than black women.
Yeah.
And so being in a marriage, even being at home, let me say from my experience as being a housewife, right? From the time that I was, I'm at home. I'm having a good time. I'm drinking mimosa. I'm watching TV. I'm cleaning up. I got food ready when he get home. When he walk in the door, baby, what you need? I'm stress free. But the moment that I walk into this job, I'm stressed.
Yep.
I'm extremely stressed. And it's because everything that you're trying to require from me, but I need to be able to take care of my family, which I actually want to do and I love to do. So I think that what happens is that there is a narrative where we feel like, oh, if women get into a marriage, you're not going to get everything. But really, it's the man at the end of the day that he can do whatever he wants to do. He can nut in about 50 women and spread his semen. And spread his semen to 50 women and have a good time.
Yep.
But I feel like it's more of a man sacrifice when he decided to say, you know what, I'm going to commit to this one woman. And so we constantly, though, hear these narratives of, oh, you sure your daddy ain't got a kid around the corner? Right. You sure?
Yes.
But see, I have to say this. I'm sure that those type of scenarios have happened. But what we've done in our community is we've brought those to the forefront, and we forget about the men that actually are raising families and that are taking care of their wives and taking care of their children and spending time with them. Because this is really happening in our community. But it's it's so many times that we forget about it, or we don't want to talk about it, and we want to talk about all the negative men. But it's so many more. It's what is it? I think the stats say 54% of black men don't even have children.
True.
Wow. So where are these men? Because what happens is all of the women are having babies. McCall, don't say that. All of the women are deciding to have babies by the exact same man. Ask a woman, how many children do that she had a baby by?
What? You better speak.
Okay. I'm just saying, better speak, because that's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? And so, but this is the narrative that we push out, that black men are, they got kids everywhere. They putting all this stress upon their wife. Man, my life is great. You know what I'm saying? I can do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? My husband he protects, he provides for us. This is what he does. I don't have to have that burden before. I might get in the car with the kids and I'm feeling the need to protect them because I'm driving and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want anybody to hit my car or open the door for my children. But those are spurts. Right. His job is overall to put a covering on us. Yep. And I'm seeing more black men do that because I'm waking up as well. I'm like, I've been seeing a lot more men that has been committed too. I've been seeing it. And I love it.
I love it. I think that's what helps is to hear married women publicly talk about it, because I feel like what happens is the stay-at-home mothers living the soft life, the black women like you, I was the same. I'm at home. Y'all ain't saying nothing. So
I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years.
Yes, come on, Nicole. Come on.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. I didn't have to do nothing. I work now because I want to work, and I still don't have to work, but I want to. But that's. No, I was just gonna say, Nish, it's crazy because
people come up to me all the time and they see like the life that I'm living and they're like, man, you need to say more and like we need more from you. But the thing is, I don't even have the time because I'm so focused on seeing my children grow.
Yes.
And, you know, my husband, you know, protecting and like, you know, the family and supporting him and whatever it is that we have going on. Like, you wake up because
family comes first.
Come on. And it's like, it's crazy because I hear women often say, you know, I've been at home and I've been a housewife and, you know, I just felt the need and I woke up and I'm like, what do I have for me? What? And I need to go back to work. And I'm like, I don't know that. What do you have? Because at the end of the day, you have a husband. You have your children. Because nothing else matters at the end of the day. Because once you're dead, your name is done. It's over. Nobody cares about what you did. Yep. Every day you got up to work so hard. You know, did whatever it is that you do. Nobody cares. Yeah. Life goes on. And so what matters is your legacy. That's what matters. Yeah. But you know, to each his own. And I just want to make sure that, like, women understand, like, those that want to choose that path, like, we're here. You know, like, we need to, and like Nish said, we need to speak more about it. You know, like you said,
you're ostracized.
Absolutely.
As being black married women, single women don't like us. They talk down on us, make subliminals. They don't like us.
Yep. Speak the truth.
And I don't know why, but they don't like us.
No, and it's true. It's
where
true.
That's coming from. Because I think about, I'm just
ahead,
wondering, like, how did that narrative just switch? Because it used to be the marriage was like the pinnacle thing to aspire to, at least for women.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now women who are over 30 are not seeing as an option. So maybe it's, I mean, I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's just covetousness. I don't know what it could be. I never.
Yeah, but I see it a lot. Mm-hmm. They don't like us,
and they make up stuff. Like, oh my gosh, like I've heard so much negativity.
Me too.
Like literally.
I read it, I see it,
like, I hear it just from my own experience. Mm-hmm. I hear so much negativity, and it's crazy because I'm like, where did you get that thought from? Like, he controlling you. He got you. He thinking for you.
I've heard it all.
I'm like, and my husband is looking at me like, you don't even listen to what I say.
Right.
And so I'm confused. Right. And so because I'm like, wait, am I listening or am I
got something
listening?
to tell you. Right. Don't tell your husband, girl. Well,
like,
don't tell me shit because I'm telling him everything.
Absolutely.
You ain't got to worry about me telling nobody else, but I'm telling my husband whatever it is that went on in my day, who I talked to, what we talked about. My husband is going to hear it all on the pillow. Yeah. And it's just, that's my best friend.
But Miko, so tell us about your upbringing and how your mom raised you. Like, did she invite to you or did she say to you, like, yes, get married, you should be, you know, having a husband, you should be raising children?
Were you raised in a single family?
Yeah, what was the family dynamic? Like, did she, like, put any of that on you? Or did she say, no, we don't need a man, we live in our best life, you know, like, what
if
was
he
your
act
experience?
up, go get another one.
Well, my mother, she never preached marriage, you know what I'm saying? She taught us from her own experiences, you know. Well, I'm the oldest of 4. I got 3 sisters. So she, you know, I was, of course, there for a long time by myself before my sister came. So I watched my mother do a lot of stuff, but she never said, like, oh, you know what? Don't look at what I'm doing. I really want you to be married, you know. My mother raised me out of a little bit of anger, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, as I got older, you know what I'm saying, she would say, like, oh, no, you don't need no man, do it yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what you need a man for, you know, or if you do get a man, make sure you got a job. You know, I'm trying to mooch off, you know what I'm saying? You know, so she always put that in my mind and to, you know, be independent. You know, that she, and to this day, she still preaches independency, but my mother isn't married either. You know,
Has she ever been married?
It's like that same experience, right?
Never.
Like having your children live off of your experiences, like you saying, she's
break generational
angry.
curses.
Yes, and it's like she's been angry, and maybe because she, of course, had children without being married and feeling like, oh, he didn't step up to the plate. But like, what do y'all think about that? Like, when giving birth, I know we talked about this on a previous episode, but you know, just deciding to like give birth to a child, not being married, but then giving your everything to a man before he actually puts a ring on your finger or say, I'm going to marry you and be with you. Like, what y'all
I don't believe it. I don't go by what you're telling me. I go by actions.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't believe that.
So what McCall, you feel like
show me, put that ring on my finger, and then we gonna move forward. But don't talk me to death. Don't tell me what you want to do. Put that ring on my finger.
See, and I think what happens is because none of us have been taught how to actually date and be in relationships. We jumped into the relationships too soon.
We do. First night.
Developed feelings.
First night.
And so now you got these feelings. Now you in love, or you want to be
You're
with
in
this
lust.
person. And
You're in lust.
You're in lust. And so you're moving along life, you know, every day. And, you know, like y'all relationship, y'all bond is going stronger and stronger. But it's like, oh, you wake up like, goddamn, like, I don't even know if.
I don't know who I slept with last night because
Right.
we ain't set a foundation down. We just doing what we doing.
And I think that's where we need to start. Like, we need to be
Date.
able to teach women, how do you actually date a man? And like, what are the conversations like? We need to have agreements up front. We need to have uncomfortable
Boundaries.
conversations
Yes.
up front.
Yes.
So that
I'm
we
totally-
won't get into those situationships.
Later
You
on
see what
down
I'm
the
saying?
line,
Absolutely.
when I'm invested.
Yeah, what is it that you want? Do you want to get married? How many children do you want to have? Oh, do you like to get dick sucked? Oh, because I like to get my. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have these conversations up front, and we're not being taught that. Go ahead.
And on top of that, we have to keep the lines of communication
Open.
You can't just assume nothing. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Absolutely.
you didn't. What is it? You know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants their time wasted.
Come on.
Yeah.
If you going into this and you're not sure, say that.
Yeah.
I might want to be like, well, since you ain't sure, then
Yeah.
all right, nice knowing
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
But don't
Yep.
hold me
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you know deep down on your side that's not what you want to do,
Yeah.
tell that woman or man that. Stop thinking like, oh, well, I don't want to see her with nobody. That's
Right.
fine. You
Yeah.
ain't ready,
Yeah.
sis or bro.
Yeah.
Let him
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
hold me here knowing you don't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to be woman and man enough to be like, you know what? I done wasted X amount of time here. Like, you ain't said nothing. Like, I've been waiting on you, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have had to wait.
Yeah.
You should have been like, yay or nay.
Yeah.
But you want to sit here and play. But people only do what you allow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
can't give a person too much, or you like, you know what I'm saying? You can't be doing wifely duties without the title.
Yeah.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
That's
vice
right.
versa.
So
You know,
what
some people
exactly?
get comfortable.
What is
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
exactly wifely duties? I think that
The 4 S's.
That was an
right,
insider.
because a woman who is single is thinking like, oh, at some point, you know, you do want to cook for your man, or like, I mean, in my relationship, he cooks for me a lot.
Yeah.
Same.
You know,
Yeah. But I think that defining whatever it is that your relationship roles are, I do think at the end of the day, when I hear black men talk, because I've talked to a lot of black men, and they speak about, you know, traditional roles. Like, black men want traditional roles, and at the end of the day, that's why they're not getting married, because that's what they want.
They want traditional
However-
roles, but want us to pay 50.
Yeah, and
no, that's just a joke.
ridiculous.
That's
No,
just
I'm
a
gonna say,
joke,
but
though.
that's ridiculous, because I don't even, McCall say, I don't even know if I haven't heard a man say that. But, you know.
I have,
You
and
have.
it's a
men
joke.
say, what do you bring to the table?
But
Me.
still, I think at the end of the day, like you saying, Nish, if your dude cooks, that's fine. He cooks. What is it that you need to do to make sure that he has what he needs? If he's going to cook for you and you're full and your belly's full, you need to be asking him, what is it that I need to do for you daily? If it's something that you feel like you
Absolutely.
can't meet,
It's a
that
partnership.
conversation, needs to be had, because y'all need to be able to bounce off one another, especially if y'all
Yes.
going to be in this relationship
Yes.
and move forward. You know, and so I think that that's in our community, we're not having these conversations. You know, we're not comfortable.
The uncomfortable conversations.
Yes, we're not comfortable with having these conversations.
But they need to be had, though, rather than getting a relationship 3 or 4 months down the line and then an issue occurs.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really destroying our community.
It is.
It really is. And it's like, we need some healing.
And on top of that,
You know?
we can't be afraid of conflict.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if I ask him this, he gonna be mad. Let him be mad.
That's right.
Because
That's
the
right.
conversation need to be had. If the conversation is not had,
Right.
nobody's
You'll
mind
never know.
readers. So you be like, well, I wanted you to take out the. Well, babe, you ain't say you wanted
Right.
to
You
take
didn't
out
say it.
You
Right.
knew that. I didn't.
No, because you never told me that. So you can't
I
hold
didn't.
me to a
Right.
standard that we've
That
never
we
discussed.
never
Yeah.
discussed.
So
And it's funny because I know like the other day I had like some Amazon packages coming in, right? And so I was scared because I was like, oh, I know I wasn't supposed to spend this. But when he come back home, I'm gonna have this conversation, y'all. And I was so nervous.
But
I
wait,
was so nervous.
Crystal,
And I
why
was
my
like,
husband just say that when we
please.
pulled up? He said,
What?
damn, every time we pull up, she got all them damn Amazon boxes on the porch. I said, he just said
And
that.
so it's all, and I was just telling. So I started the conversation because our oldest is in college now, and I was like, "So, babe, you know, she moved into her room.
So
you
I
know.
had, you know.
And so you know that was something that I didn't really know. He like, I know that you spent it, and I was like. So I was like, you want to hear the bad news? He's like, if you saying the bad news is that you spent the money, I was like, but I didn't put nothing in savings. So if he's like, okay, it's fine.
Right.
Yo, I was so nervous, and I had
knew you
to
was
push
wrong.
myself because I was like, I knew that I was wrong. And I really had to. And so I'm just piggybacking off of Miko
That is
saying,
so
like,
funny.
have the uncomfortable conversations
Yes.
because they need to be had.
They
right?
need to
And
be.
stop just coming up to dudes and just feeling like, oh, he look good and I want to have his
He
baby.
fresh.
Or like, what are we
Or
doing?
he got nice hair.
It doesn't even make
Right,
sense.
he fresh with nice hair.
You don't even know at midnight it's gonna get nappy.
Because the moisturizer done dried out. The moisturizer done dried out.
But yes, y'all. So let's continue to build in our Black community. Let's speak real. Let's make sure that women and men are seeing marriage as a viable option. But y'all, I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Black marriage movement.
Black marriage
is happening,
movement.
and we're out, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Peace.